think it's about high time I took a stab at this logo that you folks may know as that of Sanguisugabogg. I am trembling in fear in the face of this monstrosity. I think a lot of the fans of this band don't even know how to spell the band's name properly, based on all of the comments I've received. I think my favorite one of those was Sanguisugabogg, as in like SpongeBob. I don't know exactly what that crossover would look like, but it's funny to think about. 14 letters to deal with here. I guess that's not too bad, unless you consider the fact that this is only one line, and right off the bat, I only see one letter. We're in for a good time. The first letter is typically the easiest. Seems to hold true for this one. There's like an extra line from the S that just kind of goes off into space. Is this the A? Not so sure about the N yet, but this looks like the G. I am seeing some letters, especially towards the end here. I think this is a G. It's very possible that the letters are just totally overlapping. The N could just go straight through the G, and it still technically starts before the G, so it's still properly legible. Not that I expect that to be a concern to whoever designed this, but this is coming together a lot better than I thought it would. Of course, I'm making a whole lot of assumptions here. Not going to dismiss the possibility of a mix of uppercase and lowercase either. I'm more confident in this being a lowercase g than uppercase. A little bit of a stretch, but that's an S. I'm going to cut this one out like I usually do, like remove all the stuff in the logo aside from the letter forms, and it's just going to look like nonsense. Like it's going to look like I just bullshitted all of the letter forms in there, which is effectively what I'm doing. I guess I can't deny that part. My level of confidence in this is very low, but I feel a whole lot better than what just happened. Okay, Photoshop has ceased to function, as in I can't move around on my canvas. I can't zoom out either. Hello? Okay, well, I was confident until that happened. Thanks, Adobe. This solution that I have leaves a whole bunch of random frickin' lines on the table. This logo is like 30% letter, 70% utter nonsense. That's the vibe I'm getting. I looked at this previously and I was like, oh yeah, this could be the G, but there's nothing actually separating this part of the leg and the top. Not that it's any better the other way around necessarily, but oh, hold on a second. Wait. I just noticed this up here. Of course, this is totally overlapping with the A, but I wouldn't put it past them. Unless this is then the O, and then... No, there's too much after that. That would work if the G's were, like, huge. I'm just gonna do it all over from scratch. Screw it. I never tried the oldest trick in the book that never works. Then you can kind of filter out some of the nonsense. Then kind of bring it back in as necessary. Let's see if this does anything useful. This might be totally messing things up. I'm seeing things that I didn't see before. There's some sort of a line that goes like this. I think it's from part of the G. This is my new interpretation of the G. U is highly questionable at best. Maybe it goes down like that. These lines need to mean something. If they don't mean anything, I'm going to be angry, so I'm going to operate under the assumption that they do mean something. Again, that could be like don't know the typographic term, the crossbar of the G. Crossbar, maybe? I need one of those charts up on my wall. I just realized I think I was like off camera for half of this. Now the problem remains, I was drawing on the wrong layer. No. I'm pretty confident in the S at the front, even more so now that I know what that line belongs to. The N, what was the previous interpretation of the N? I'd say that's right. Although maybe the leg goes down here. If we dismiss that as a random frickin' line, then the B might extend all the way down here. Wait, what did I do with the G last time? Okay, because now I'm seeing something like this. But that's only one G, so that doesn't really help us. That could be an O. That's a G right there. Like, that is absolutely a lowercase g. The last two G's could be, like, stacked on top of each other very strangely. I'm gonna go back to the front because I'm getting angry. Yeah, if I move this part of the N over, that might be a little more believable. The S goes down further than I thought it did. A also goes up higher. That G looks like it's out of some, like, sick graffiti lettering. Well, it looks cooler in my head. I found a Twitter post the other day, or this was like a while ago, That was basically the solution to this logo. Or I guess you could call it the solution to this logo because it was approved in a way by Sanguisugabogg themselves. Let me see if I can find it. It's like, oh, maybe they won't believe me. And then I realized I would see, in the process of doing so, I would see the solution. We don't want to do that. We're not ready for that yet. Oh, sorry, Bob. I'm believing a little more in this B now. Bothers me how many extra lines there are, like, unaccounted for. A line here, sort of a line there. Definite line there. And this just sort of continues from the bottom of the G there. I'm wondering if the letter forms are more like tightly packed in this area. If they are, then I would have more space at the end to figure out the G's, but I don't think that would actually help. My desire to look at that tweet grows larger every second. Okay, well, this line is completely unaccounted. I'll add that into the freaking list. That to me is a little more convincing if I move the third G down a little bit. This doesn't look like it's actually connected here, though. Like, there's this gap right here that makes me think that it's not intended to be connected. I could take a couple more stabs at these G's and then go cry or something. I don't know. My job is hard. Got a lot of responsibility here. Everyone's looking at me as the metal guru. I'm starting to feel really bad about misinterpretations. Life is ruthless and Jacques of pain. Oh my god. Wait a minute. I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. Is this whole thing the eye? No. I don't like that. I don't like that makes sense. Okay. It could either be that or this other unaccounted for line. I think the latter of those two is more convincing, even though this part does extend up further. Whatever. I like that better. Okay, I'm starting to see some G's. What if the two G's are just like nested? It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm gonna give myself 6 more minutes, and if I don't get it within that time frame, I'm looking at the thing. The thing is, there's already 2 uppercase G's here. I mean, if there were 2 lowercase G's at the end, I guess that would kind of make sense, but to have a lowercase g and an uppercase G is travesty. I'm just gonna try moving the B around. Yeah, this looks really stupid, but can you really blame me for trying things at this point? Also worried that this quote-unquote solution is not going to help me whatsoever. I found that in other metal logo solutions, people aren't as particular with their lines as I am, as in they're not nearly as specific. I suppose that is a possibility. Got the lowercase g here, coupled with the uppercase G. That looks like Borg. Sanguisugabogg. What is this? What is this line? What is this for? Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'm taking a look at that. Yeah, see what I mean about this? I'm going to bring this into Photoshop. I just opened this photo and that's right. Because Reddit frickin' sucks and doesn't let you save images normally. Let's open this thing up. See what this guy has to say. I can't see it on my desktop. My current camera setup just like blocks the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, which is where all my like tabs are in my program bar. Program bar? This point of the A doesn't end on anything. Nah, yeah, I don't agree with this. Sorry, that's not it. Okay, maybe I do agree with the B. So they did, oh yeah, maybe it goes all the way up here. Oh my god! Yeah, this part of the A definitely probably keeps going diagonally down this way. Not entirely on board with this, despite the fact that the band approved it. Like I said, this is the closest thing I have to a solution. I don't know about the G's at all. Sanguisugabogg. Sanguisuga, buy one, get one free. This still doesn't look like anything to me. It's just all garbled nonsense. I don't know why I'm getting angry. This is exactly what I should have expected. I'm gonna let this sizzle a little while. Marinate my brain and see what I can do after I give it a little bit of a rest and come back to it. Sanguisugabogg logo interpretation was on hold while I was working on the Deciphering Metal Logos wiki, but it's about time I revisited it. I sent this interpretation to the designer to see what kind of track I'm on here. And instead of just flat out giving me the answer, she has elected to instead give me hints along the way, which I think is a whole lot more fun. I'm going to revisit that email because I got that like multiple weeks ago. There's a mix of upper and lowercase letters, which is very fun. Let me just go through these one by one here. I have the S, the N, and G right. The bog is definitely the hardest, so I'm going to assume this is completely wrong. First A is tricky. Only letters that overlap are the A and the B. It's simpler than I think. There's a lot of random slashes through the letters. I guess I'll just go ahead and start a new interpretation here. Let's do a little bit of that. Here we go again. Woohoo. Wait, the N was correct? The hell? Wow, okay. I would not have expected that. I'm looking for this first A and I'm not seeing any. I should also try removing the random slashes to see if that somehow helps my cause. Since we know these letter forms are correct, then I can make some educated guesses. I don't know, I don't feel especially good about like knocking anything out in here. Like, I know there are a bunch of random slashes and quote, but I don't know what's a random slash and what's a letter form that's been distorted beyond recognition at this point. There's a mix of uppercase and oh, I think, hold on. No, that's just part of the S. What the hell? If it's not overlapping, then what? Unless it's just right here? Does that even qualify? I was pretty confident with this part of it. The designer, I should just frickin' use her first name. What is it? Bridgette Barnes is the name of the designer. She didn't say anything about this section right here. So I have no idea whether or not any of that was correct. I was pretty confident in this G. Like that looks like it's there. The B and the A are supposedly overlapping, but I fail to see how. Did I try that already? I don't remember, man. I should have revisited this much earlier. I still want this thing at the end to be one of the G's, but I know this is way too big. Like if I zoom out here and kind of like unfocus my vision a little bit, this form comes through a lot more clearly. Do the letters just get like goofy small at the end here? Oh my god, wait, that might actually work. That might just be stupid enough. Gotta be as accurate as possible here. There are so many extra lines that even being slightly off could completely throw off the interpretation. But then what is this right here? That can't be the B, that doesn't look right. She never necessarily said that the second A was correct either, so that might be in the completely wrong place. Although I'd have that hard time believing that. We're doing the operation slash removal. There's no way the A is there. Is it just this up here and like lowercase? That is a lot more believable to me. There are just way too many holes here for me to conceive of any single letter form in there. Like I know it's supposed to be the U, but it doesn't look like there's anything there. Every time I look at this, I feel like the interpretation of the B moves further to the left. No, further to the left, and that's not helping my case at all. I have the shape of the font correct, but the exact letters are off a bit. What does that mean? At this point, I'm kind of just connecting any of these holes that are really close together to a point where I would assume there's an intended opening, and it's kind of starting to make a difference. Take another look at that interpretation that I found online that was supposedly approved. Well, already it's not right. G is the same, N is not, and the S is incorrect. So, okay, I can just forget about that entirely. Thought that might give me some sort of guiding light after what I've been through so far, but nope. Where's the first U? Okay, well, this is part of that slash up there, so I can get rid of it. Is that it? All signs are pointing to yes right now, so we're gonna have to go with it. Somewhat of a lowercase a. We got the S at the front. Do a loop-de-loop and pull, and your shoes are looking good. And then S? No, the I comes before the S. Well, I mean, yeah, that's possible. It's possible. I separated this here, but let's see, that is where I had the S previously. Wait a minute. I was just about to say this is somewhat therapeutic, and then I remembered that I'm borderline frustrated. And it's like a good kind of frustrated, you know. The U just looks like it goes all the way up to the top, but that can't be the case unless wait, maybe the S just stops here. That's possible too. Okay, there's more line that doesn't need to be there. What if this is a line that doesn't need to be there? I'm just having to erase so much, and the more I do, the less believable this is to me and anyone else watching. Okay, if we operate under the assumption that that is in fact a G, then what is going on for the rest of like this, and then this. I still don't think this is a B right here. Like, it looks like there's a break in the middle here, and that just turns it into like a sideways pair of sunglasses. That is not how Bs look, the last time I checked. Sanguisugabogg. Wait, is it a double story A? They wouldn't dare. I'm not super convinced by the A at the beginning, I'll be honest. Also starting to convince myself that this at the end is nothing, because nothing beyond this right here, which I assume is a lowercase g, actually looks like anything. Sandwich, sugar, bacon. Okay, I need to take a break from this. As of earlier this week, I have received the official solution to the Sanguisugabogg logo. And it's a little bit of a sketch that the artist did, I believe, before she brought it into Photoshop and provided some further distortion. I'm like, well, not 90% of the way there. Probably more like 60. This whole ABOGG was incorrect. She mentioned that the G and A were overlapping previously. And in the solution she sent me, they were not overlapping. So I don't know. I must have misinterpreted that comment. A was also incorrect, and apparently this up here is supposed to be an extension of the S. The A is right here. So I was in the like right general ballpark of it, but I don't think there's any case in which I would have guessed that to be the intended form. Oh, right, and I forgot the I is not actually this exciting. It's in the same spot, it's just a lowercase I. So apparently this is just supposed to be a dot, I don't know. The A is supposedly right here. It's looking like a freaking electronic component more than anything else. Oh, I guess it just goes down and ends here. The B, which I was so unsure about, is actually lowercase. I believe this is its location, which ends up looking more like an uppercase D than anything because the stem is not long enough, but that's okay. I had the O right. Okay, maybe it was closer to 70% completion. And then the last two G's are actually uppercase. Again, not something I ever would have guessed, I don't think. We got the first one here, and then the second one. Where does it even start? Oh, okay. The way she drew it includes like this little extension out to the right side, but you don't exactly need that to interpret the letter form properly. The way she initially described this to me made it sound like she took like a basic sans serif and then just went ham on it with Photoshop distortion and stuff like that. But what she sent me is a sketch, what appears to be a scanned sketch of something on paper. I was thinking more along the lines of what would this look like if it were just a sans serif that was really distorted, as opposed to, oh, all the letter forms could be anything and everything and there's no consistent shape between any of them. That's an interesting point. So there are two lowercase forms, as she mentioned, but all of the G's are uppercase, which is a nice little bit of consistency. Anyways, this has been just about as difficult, if not more so, than I was anticipating, and I'm glad I'm finally done with it so I don't have to look at it anymore. There's a lot of other really interesting band logos that I've been itching to dive into that this has been keeping me from. So, on a day's work, Sanguisugabogg for you. I hope you folks are happy.